Welcome back. This is a true story, though I changed the names, so enjoy. Don't forget to sub up on the channel, and if you like the story, leave a comment. Hi, my name is Angela. I'm a screenwriter from Chicago, Chi-Town babe. I finally left Chicago for the big lights of Los Angeles.
Got to LAX at sunrise. The smog looked like gold from the terminal window. I walked outside and the air felt different, like it had electricity in it. Everything hit different. It was real and fake all in one. Everything I seen in movies and TV was surreal. I didn't go straight to my hotel. I wanted to walk, to breathe in the charged air of sunset of LA. It was a long walk, but I didn't care. At one point, I stopped in front of a different hotel, a grand, haunting place. A chill, sharp and sudden, cut through the California warmth. I said a little prayer and moved on. Lost myself in the stars of the Hollywood Walk of Fame, marveling at the names: Quentin Tarantino, Spike Lee, George Lucas. One day, I thought, my name will be here too. It was Friday midday when I'd landed, and by the time I finally hailed a cab to my own hotel on Sunset, the sky was bleeding into evening. Final at the hotel was beautiful in a faded, vintage way. My room smelled of old roses and salt. The balcony faced the endless sunset traffic. The night was young and pulsing.
I dressed carefully, sexy but not desperate, and called a car service. Down in the lobby, I waited, wandering past gallery walls of Hollywood royalty. At the very end of a dim hallway, half hidden behind a potted fern, was a photo that didn't belong. A beautiful young woman my age, with a smile full of dreams. A homemade poster read, "Missing. Last seen on Hollywood Boulevard, January 23, 2015. A shiver touched my spine, but I brushed it off. This was a city of a million stories. My car arrived. The driver was an older man, with kind, tired eyes. As we wound down from the hills, he spoke without looking at me. "You be careful out here. Beautiful young women, they have a way of disappearing." The club was everything I wanted. Loud, glittering, alive. And there he was. The guy from the Ferrari who'd flirted with me in the hotel driveway earlier. Malik, he said, smiling a perfect smile. He knew the bouncer, and we bypassed the line. He was charming, funny, and his hands were always moving, always touching. We drank, we danced. The room spun a little too easily. In a dark corner, his hands grew urgent, his body pressing into mine. I came to my senses, pushing him away, his frustration evident. I fled to the bathroom, my dress stained, my head fuzzy. The woman at the sink was striking, tall, powerfully built, with a severe, handsome face and a low cut. She was the bouncer who'd effortlessly thrown a drunk out earlier. Our eyes met in the mirror. For a second, her gaze was intense, searching, before it shuttered closed. She walked out without a word. I left the club alone. The next morning, rain lashed my window. The hotel felt hollow, silent. Needing ice, I headed to the machine on the second floor. The corridor seemed longer, darker, and there it was again, another missing poster, taped crookedly next to the ice machine. Sarah, 28, aspiring actress. The lights flickered. The far end of the hall plunged into darkness. A figure emerged from the blackness, walking slowly, steadily toward me. Panic seized me. I fumbled with the ice skirt, its stride quickening. I sprinted for the elevator, stabbing the button. Just as a black hand reached from the gloom, the elevator door opened. An arm pulled me in. It was Malik. "Whoa, you okay? You look like you've seen a ghost." My heart hammered. "What are you doing here?" I gasped. "Like you, I'm staying here. 3rd floor." He walked me to my room, his earlier arrogance replaced with concern. "I'm sorry about last night. Let me make it up to you. Dinner." He was so sincere. I agreed. Dinner was perfect. He finally asked me my name, Angela. He said Angela twice, as if he once loved someone with that name. He was a gentleman, listening intently to my dreams of screenwriting. He talked vaguely about family business in Los Angeles. He walked me to my door, kissed me gently, and left. For the first time, I felt a flicker of real connection. We were both the same age. Something about him is different. His eyes were a little cold, yet passionate as well. Later, around 3 a.m., craving a late-night snack, I went downstairs to meet a delivery driver who couldn't come up. The lobby was a tomb. As I waited for the elevator, I glanced down the long central corridor. She was there, the female bouncer, standing perfectly still under a flickering light, staring right at me. In one hand, she held a crumpled missing poster. In the other, a heavy claw hammer hung at her side. Okay, fucking weirdo. As a track runner and gymnast, I knew I could outrun her. My blood froze. The elevator was too slow. The main doors were locked for the night. She took a step forward. A sudden, violent bang on the glass lobby doors made me jump. I whipped and turned around. It was my delivery driver, pointing apologetically at his watch. When I looked back, the corridor was empty. The bouncer was gone. Only the ghost of her image remained. Shaken, I grabbed my food and rode up with a couple who'd also entered. Safe in my room, I couldn't sleep. Paranoia gnawed at me. I needed answers. The next day, I decided to investigate. I found the bellboy, a young man with a perpetual look of sorrow. I casually mentioned the missing posters. His face tightened. I just started working here about a year ago. For the past few years, women have been missing from this hotel. I almost gasped, couldn't believe it. It was not mentioned. When looked up the best hotel stay at, for extended stay, I even looked crime stats to make sure I would be in the best area till I could find my home. The bellboy then said I must go. Be safe. If you need anything, let me know. I liked this bellboy. He was not as creepy from the older bellman from last night. I took a walk to clear my head. A familiar black car pulled up. It reminded me of how my dad kept his car clean, inside and out. It was my limo driver from the first night. You're still here, he said, not smiling. I warned you. Why do you care? I asked, a new boldness in my voice. He looked at me for a long time. My daughter, she stayed at this hotel. 1 year ago, she wanted to be a singer. A person came from behind me. Excuse me, is this your ride? I looked back. It was the bouncer. I said no, I moved out of the way. They drove away before I could ask more questions. A horrible thought ran through my mind. I must put the pieces together. Is the driver's daughter perhaps the subject of the posters on the wall? The posters. It has to be her. Was the bouncer taking them down or putting them up? I feel like I'm in a movie and I'm the main character. That evening, I confronted Malik in the hotel bar. What do you know about women disappearing from this hotel? His smile didn't reach his eyes. This city eats dreamers. It's tragic. The bouncer from the club, she's here. She was in this hotel last night, and I just seen her again. Malik's posture changed subtly. She's intense. Her girlfriend vanished a year ago. She's been a little obsessed ever since. She seemed cool at first, but she assumed I kidnapped her girlfriend. I thought she was kidding, but she was very serious. We almost got into a fight, and we never spoke again after that. Why would she think you would kidnap her girlfriend? I'm not gonna lie, I'm not even sure. I was helping her. He paused and took a sip of his drink. Her name is Lena, the bouncer. Not a threat to me, but a hunter like the others. What others? Suddenly, I saw it. The bellboy, the driver, the bouncer. They weren't connected to each other. They were all connected to me. They had lost someone. And they had all, in their own way, guided me, watched me, warned me. Because I fit the type. The young woman with a dream, alone in the city. Staying at this beautiful, cursed hotel. They were using me as bait. Maybe. The plot twist hit me with the force of a physical blow. I looked at Malik. His handsome face was now a mask. He was too connected as well. He was at the hotel. He was at the club. He was always there. Your family business, Malik, I said, my voice trembling. What is it? He leaned forward, his voice dropping to a whisper that was both intimate and terrifying. Finding the right kind of lost girls, Angela. Girls who won't be missed. Girls who come here chasing ghosts. What? I said out aloud. That's your family business? No, we do entertainment for the bigwigs out here. We host big events, parties. Oscar night, Grammys, Billboard, BET Awards, MTV, big sports events. We do it all. Angela, so what's the name of the business? Blue Waters Entertainment. The Blue Waters. He smiled with ego. Yeah, that Blue Waters. Angela, this guy has money, big money. That entertainment company is worth $1 billion. I couldn't help but to think, did I just hit the jackpot? I'm not one for being impressed for money, but damn. No wonder he's so cocky, with so much confidence, well manicured from head to toe. His build was tall, slim, but fit. His car is really his, not rented or leased. This car is worth $300,000, top of the sport model. For a split moment, allowed my mind to run. This represented great wealth, but something was wrong. Why pick me? There are tons of beautiful women who are on his level of wealth, out here in this sexy city of Hollywood. The missing piece. The kidnapper wasn't a shadowy stranger. He was the charming man who'd bought me a drink. He was using me too, but for a far more sinister purpose. He was the reason the others were watching. They weren't just protecting me. They were waiting for him to make his move, to lead them to their missing loved ones. I was the lure in a trap set by the grieving family members for a predator they couldn't find. And I had just walked right into the center of it. The hotel has a history, Angela, Malik continued, his hand closing gently but firmly around my wrist under the table. Some doors here don't lead where you think. Some people vanish into the stories. And you're perfect. I looked at him, wondering what he was talking about. My family owns this hotel. We are catching bad rap with this place. I begged my family to allow me to run it until we find the killer, or whenever. Across the bar, near the grand fireplace, I saw another woman. She was watching us, her expression one of grim determination, not looking at me, but through me, at Malik. She held up her phone, taking a picture of us together. Oh, Jesus, I feel crazy. She wasn't coming to save me. She was documenting the suspect. I was the proof, the bait, and the next victim, all at once. I was no longer a screenwriter, chasing a dream. I had become a character in a horror story, and the final act had just begun. Call me stupid or crazy, but I wanted him to touch me again, and now I want it more. We reached my room and kissed very passionately. Our clothes were off in minutes. He had a nice, big build, but not too big, almost perfect size. The next morning, I knew I was crazy to entertain this moment of hot sex. I watched him as he slept. He looked like a little lost boy. I turned to make some tea. His voice was suddenly very hoarse from sleeping. Lena found a dress in the back of my car. I knew it. He is the killer, OMG. My bag was second away from my hand. I reached for it. My back was still turned toward him. He continued to try to explain it was my sister's dress. She used my car that day. So when she got in the car, she assumed it was her girl's dress. Why she thought it was me with the price tag still on it. Really? I thought. My back still turned, I held my iron ready for use. I asked, ready to know what kind of dress it was. It's a one-of-a-kind Balenciaga, he said. All white back, rainbow colors in front. The price tag was $9,000. How would a woman afford that type of dress without being rich? I placed my iron back in my bag as if I were looking for lip gloss. I turned to him and said, people are crazy. I got back in bed, and we had another round of great sex. We kissed, and he left. I was curious about that dress. You need an appointment to shop for a dress of that price at Balenciaga. I began researching the dress. Only 100 were made in 2015. I called some fashion designers here. They were tight-lipped about giving out any information. I tried to pretend to be a top screenwriter, but they did not have it. I knew my boy back home knew the right people to connect with for information. We took a moment to catch up on our lives. I gave him all the details. He said, bitch, I will have every name of that list who brought that dress. Give me some time. We hung up at the same time. Jerry, my boy, he's been my friend since middle school. I said when I make it, he will be the first one I hire for my wardrobe stylist. She was walking toward the lobby. I said, Lena, and she turned around. Wow, she was stunning to see during the daytime. She's tall, fit, and had a nice build. She stood almost the same height as Malik. I offered to buy her lunch. She agreed, but would not let me pay. Her voice was strong, powerful, sexy, and real. Her eyes seethed with anger. My heart sank after hearing the story, how they met, and being one of a kind for each other. Sarah Jenkins, her voice quivers with sadness, saying her partner's name. She's highly intelligent, she's a singer, as well as an actress. When I tell you she's different, we talking on another level of life. She could be the next Aretha, I mean really. And I'm not just saying this. She a botanist who studies plants and soil. She would teach me how they can heal organic people with melanin. She would talk about how the colors has been reversed. Black is white, and white is black. Anything pale is black, not white. Angela. This woman sounds amazing now. Having her partner's name, and hearing this I knew I needed closure to find this woman. I wanted to help her find peace. Malik told me about your friendship. She hardened with anger. You trust him? I said he's trying to help. You know he owns the hotel, well his family does, he just manage it. As she filled me in on the details, I couldn't help but to think was the older male driver with the SUV, somehow really all connected. Lena really loved this woman. As she talked, I scanned the lobby area for something out of place, like someone watching. The young bellboy was watching. As far what I can tell, Lena gave me a pen with a note attached. I just placed in my bag. I promised her I will find justice. Lena said don't go being another missing beautiful woman. I assured her not me. And that was the last I seen of Lena. Malik and I grown closer, the hotel was finally closed. Now the only link to the missing woman was all gone. Lena moved on, never saw the private driver again. Life was going good. I moved into a beautiful condo overlooking the Pacific Ocean. Tonight we have our annual big party event. The who's who's will be there, Malik says with excitement. I have been plugging your name with directors. I was happy, but I didn't need his help. My talent spoke for itself. My mother is very excited to meet you. I was like, is he getting serious about me? I will pick you up around 10 p.m. I was like, okay, great. I knew I wasn't ready for any serious relationship. I wanted to pace myself with him, I liked him and would marry him, but something just not right. I can't seem to put my finger on the pulse. After months of being with him, I noticed how smart he is in making business decisions, marketing, and building from originally talking to people. Establishing how he brought his own way to the success of the Blue Waters Entertainment Company. With his mother and sister, they flipped it into a family empire. I truly admired that. His older brother was not as handsome but was very tall, muscular, and athletic. His mother and sister are strikingly beautiful. The mother was hip and down to earth, from what I could tell from the photos. Every time we spoke on the phone, you could hear where Malik gets his smarts from. She is exceptionally well-rounded. She never made small talk, and every word meant something. She studies people's blueprints. You could tell this woman could dress exceptionally well. Every photo was of a fitness model, and her daughter was built the same way. Pictures I saw always showed a health-happy life of Malik and sister had growing up. I couldn't help to notice how his mother is extremely sexy as hell. The sister was just the same. One thing I can say for sure is that Malik has a good-looking family. He would always talk about how his whole family was strict vegan eaters. The food was always vegan style. I never saw any meats or cow milk in his home. Always fresh fruit, vegetables, coconut milk is staple in his home. His roots was from the deep south. Through all the photos except his younger years, the present photo never showed a father figure. So I asked. He told me his father was obsessed with his mother and wanted to stop her from having a thing for women. You know, a same-sex relationship type thing going on. I asked, did it work? He looked at me and said, no. My mother is my mother, and I love her regardless. My father always wanted to tame my mother. I asked, how did your mother go from gay to straight? Malik, she never went fully straight. She just wanted a kid. My father had money. She was going through a separation with a woman, and my father became her savior and grace for a time. And that is how they got together. While he was falling in love, my mother was falling out of love. Wow, I said to myself. His father is a very good-looking man. He looked exactly like Leon Isaac Kennedy, the actor from 80s and 70s movies like Body and Soul, and Penitentiary, and a few other movies my father had as collectibles he played in. My older brother is from another relationship before me and my sister. My father had Darren with another woman, and she hated him, so my mother raised him as part of our family. Hence, he doesn't look like the mother or sister in Malik. His face looked like it was in a real mask, hiding a badly burned face. Malik never discussed it with me, and I never cared to ask. His looks were creepy, something I wouldn't want to confront walking down the street in the middle of the night. Malik told me he was a big-time athlete who lost everything. He paused. My father cheated on my moms with another woman. My father wanted her to get moms jealous, but it made it easier for my mother to return to who she really was, a woman who loved women. A few years later, my father and the cheated girlfriend got into a fight. Over my mother, could you believe that? My father still loves my mother till this day. This goofy Becky, who happened to be a judge, pulled a gun on my father and shot toward him. The bullet bounced back and hit her in the head. She died, and my father was blamed for the murder. They gave him 30 years. Occasionally my mother would visit him. Deep down I think my mother still loved him. Over a year has passed. I'm finally meeting Malik's mother and sister tonight. We are talking royalty. The sister also has her own business. She owns a very successful agency for black actors and actresses, and a production studio that keeps actors working. After knowing his family for over a year by talking on the phone. I'm not sure if his brother would be there, but I can tell Malik and his brother aren't close. As a matter of fact, the family doesn't seem close to him at all. I really didn't like something about his brother. A picture really can tell 1,000 words about a person. The little research I did found showed Darren was a top athlete. He was very good looking at one point. A woman he was dating threw a drink in his face at a club, and then threw a burning match that burned off all of his face and neck. His voice was affected as well, due to the burning skin around his neck. He was scary to look at in the photos, so I wasn't thrilled to see him in person. The day was great. I want to look stunning princess-like, but still sexy enough. The big night Friday, Malik called. I'm sending a car to pick you up, around 10 p.m. He then texted me, which I didn't read, which will cause me my downfall later. OMG, it's 7:40 p.m. My makeup artist will be here at 8:30 p.m. I then jumped in the shower. I was now ready. My makeup. The makeup artist confirmed, girl. If I was straight, you would be in trouble. I told him, make sure you lock up. He's been my makeup artist for 1 year, and he never disappoints. As soon as I got down into the lobby, it was several black SUVs, all brand new. I wasn't sure which would be mine's. I walked to the nearest one, and it was the driver who picked me up a year ago, older black gentleman. He smiled, he said, how are you? I see we moved up in the world. I said, yeah, we did. Are you here to pick me up? I'm not sure. Is your name Sarah Jones, color blue/yellow? He read from his text. I said no, but I wish. We said our goodbyes till next time. I went to the next SUV, and the one after that, and the next. The dark window came down. It was Lena. "What are you doing here?" I almost screamed with joy. She said she started her own limo business, smiling. "Big money out here in LA, in this industry. I have expanded to Atlanta, as well. Soon I will be operating out of the Black Hollywood." She smiled. "She's even more good-looking since the last time we met." "Hey, are you here for me?" I asked. She said, "Not if you're Mars B. The R&B singer?" "Yeah, he lives here, on the 7th floor. A lot of celebrities, movie producers, and more stay in these complex. Learn your neighbors. Learn to read the room. It could save your life one day. These black people help one another out here more than you think. These are different types of black people. They know what's up in these streets, and they protect each other. How do you think I got this business?" She got out of the SUV and held up a sign that read, "Mars B Black/White. He's more handsome in person than on TV," as he passed me to enter his ride. He was a true gentleman. He smelled incredible, and his smile could light up a room. "We'll talk soon," Lena says, as she pulled away from me. Now back to finding my driver. It was the one SUV all the way down the line that had to be mine. I said, "Hey, you going to the Hollywood Hill Mansion, Hilltop Manor?" The driver never spoke. He only nodded his head yes, and then he said yes. I relaxed, feeling overexcited about meeting Malik's family after a year. While building my career, it was impossible for me to meet his family. Talking on the phone and scheduling business meetings made it hard for us to connect for a physical meeting. The wealthy people are always on the go, and his mother is extremely wealthy, constantly traveling around the world. I do remember one conversation we had. She wanted to know if I was American. I told her yes, proudly. She said, "We are as well, proudly. We are pure Indians, the indigenous Maroons. Of this land soon we'll take it back. My son must marry into his bloodline. She wants her grandchildren to be only Black American, nothing else." My mother felt the same way, and my father as well. The stature of beauty she carried, the same as Malik's father, both looked Indian, native with the high cheekbone structure that most Black Americans share, which gives us a distinctive look, no matter our hair texture. We spoke on the phone about food, and how the American diet has been compromised, making us think that today's soul food is not the soul food that kept us young, strong, and living for over 400 years. The planet-based soul food grown from the ground, which was the poor Negro diet. That has flipped. Today it's called health food, which is expensive on purpose. We laughed and talked about how good some of today's soul food is good to eat now and then. The drive felt longer than I remember when Malik and I came up here. It was no more than 30 minutes. This felt longer than the 30-minute drive with the previous driver. I texted Malik and said I was on my way. I saw his text. It clearly stated, "Ensure the driver knows your name and color code." Oh shit, I forgot to ask the driver. The tinted black window made it very hard to see, and the driver appeared to be on the phone, so I waited to ask him for my information to make sure I was in the right SUV. As I checked for Malik's return text, Jerry finally sent the list of clients who purchased that dress, a list that took months. It read the list of names which none looked familiar. My battery was at 3% shit. I looked to see if the driver was off the phone. He was not. I knock on the glass again. He didn't respond. I waited, and I began to panic slightly, knocking again with no response. The divided glass slightly rose down. He said, "What is it?" in a tone I did not like at all, as if I was bothering him. "I'm sorry to bother you, but do you know my full name and color code?" "Nothing." "What?" he says. I asked him again. "Do you know my name?" No response. "My phone is dead, and I'm in the killer vehicle, OMG, an SUV. I banged on the window, hoping to break it. I screamed, "Let me out! Let me out!" I cried and screamed as the SUV went faster. I know I was doomed. My phone is dead. I turn it back on. The text from Jerry showed the last name, Darren Waters. OMG, Darren. It's you, isn't it? I screamed. Blood was coming from somewhere from the back seat, escaping from the trunk. I thought I was hurt, but it wasn't me. It looked like broken medical jars of organs. The car stopped suddenly. The door locks pop up. I exit the SUV so fast, I left one of my shoes, and my purse, and my phone. OMG. It was pitch black. I can see the lights of Hollywood at a distance. I heard rushing footsteps coming from somewhere. I crouched down. I was feeling for a stone or rock. I picked up a snake. A fucking snake. A hand grabbed my neck from the back. I throw the snake in his face, and ran towards the lights down the hill. That was Malik fucking brother. His brother! I felt dead inside. 1,000 thoughts were going through my head. Did his whole family set me up? Or was I just careless enough to think I was safe? Lena said she didn't trust Malik. Oh my God, I'm running for my life. At night in the Hollywood Hills. Is this what I signed up for, to be a screenwriter? All those little hints of missing women, jokes, and the story of how girls go missing out here. But why wait a year for this to happen to me? I ran through the pouring rain after escaping from who I felt was Darren. Another footstep is getting closer. Another male voice. It sounded a little familiar. I finally got back to the vehicle, clutching my purse and shoe. At this point, I knew the SUV was a trap, so I headed back into the forest that felt like the deep woods. I felt safe enough to turn around and see who the driver was. As I peeped from the forest, I noticed a white male that looked like the bellboy from the hotel. I was shocked. The rain was coming down hard. I couldn't see the tall figure who got back in the SUV with the bellboy. A hand clamps over my mouth. I turned to face. That was all I saw before passing out. It felt like hours. I woke up on the floor and looked over. It was a woman. She looked healthy but was very disheveled, almost as if she had become part of the woods itself. I whispered, "Is your name Sarah?" She nods her head. "Yes. Lena never stopped looking for you." "Don't talk," she said. "They're close," she said, whispering. Moonlight hit Sarah's face, revealing how strikingly beautiful and battle-hardened she is. I noticed some of the hunters, those are billionaires, and famous actors I've met at parties. As they both looked on through sharing the binoculars Sarah had. "Sarah, you surprised? To them we're just sex slaves, and then hunted, and then our organs are sold." Sarah hands me a small jug. "Take this," she says. "Tea tree and eucalyptus oil. Smear it all over your hair and body. It masks your scent from the dogs. They use the dogs to hunt us." I remember Lena saying how smart Sarah really is. I said us, as if I was somewhere safe. "What do you mean, Sarah? They know some of us are out here, so what they don't hunt off, they let these humans, like dogs, finish the job." I couldn't help but think how I got here. "And why me?" said out loud, without realizing it. "Sarah, why not you? You are a beautiful young woman, and more importantly, the melanated skin you walk around with is worth more than gold. Melanated skin has changed the world. We suffer due to lack of knowledge." I didn't want to ask, but I knew I had to. "Malik, do you know him?" She looked at me straight on. I was nervous, but I needed to know. "Sarah, is he still alive?" I was like, "What?" "Malik, his mother, and his sister are the most honest people in Hollywood. They built their empire from nothing. They have been sabotaged for years, and the father was set up. Darren is the culprit. Lena and I broke up before I left upstate New York to pursue my career. I dated Darren, he was rich, and I was poor. I had talent, and he had the right people I needed to succeed. I was hired by the sister. She saw through my mask of cosplay. She knew I would be perfect for the job. My job was a consulting for epic events. That is how I found out the blackmailing that has been going on. Darren's mother and Darren. I found out they was doing backdoor deals with outside crafty people to destroy Blue Waters. Darren's mother hated Malik's mother. Name is Sharon. Darren's mother name is Lucy. She hated Sharon for taking Beau from her. Darren is not even Malik's real brother. Lucy knew this, but played on Beau and Sharon as if she hated Darren. Malik's father name is Bowen, short for Beau. The women that Beau killed is still alive. I had no words, I just listened. Sarah continues. Darren thought I was some dream catcher. Cosplaying as a bimbo allowed me into dark secret rooms and leverage information. But everything took a dark turn once I found out the truth. The day I was going to expose Darren and his mother to Malik's family, knew I became the next target. The day I got on that boat with Malik and Darren didn't show up, I felt something was off. Last time I saw Malik, he was shot and pushed into the ocean. We were on the boat together. It was a party. I knew everything, and I knew I would be next. I played it off like I was not bothered, but I was crushed with anger and pain. When I got back to the house, Darren looked at me and said, "I'm going to let you go. We'll talk tomorrow." I looked back and knew he was going to kill me. I ran outside into the garage. I grabbed a fire torch and burned him till the flames stopped. I ran and realized I had nowhere to go. Not realizing this is the hunting grounds. As she talked, I was thinking to myself, I thought he was burned from a date he was on. I was so confused about everything. I asked, "How have you survived a whole year?" "Sarah, it was not easy. Usually people I've flown over onto this island. It's hard to get on and hard to get off." "Yeah, but we drove here." "No, you didn't. I searched every way to get off the island/prison. The vehicle gives you the illusion you're still on the road, but a boat brings you here. It's 3 ways off this island: boat, chopper, or death." I asked, "How have you survived a whole year?" "Sarah, I broke my ankle early on. Fasted, lived on berries, water, and herbs, made a dirt cast. 6 weeks later, it healed. I've killed several of their dogs with spear poison tips. But the hunters, they wear night protection suits and night goggles now. We killed some at first, but they got smart. There are always 44 hunters used each night, men and women. I've even seen some black hunters. They kill them, but nothing goes to waste. They always strip them of their organs. They don't care much about their own. They just toss them to wolf dogs for food. I asked, "What do you mean, others?" "Angela, as I said, this is the hunting grounds. They bring people here to hunt them down. Once killed, they strip them of their organs and thrown to the ocean." I managed to bond with some of them, but panic set in, and they ran off, hoping to be saved by the hunters. The hunters would pretend to save them and bring them to the others. "Damn," I said. She continues, "One body I found. I hoped he was alive. Shot in the neck. It was that famous actor, Blues. I was attempting to take his clothes off to use them. Before I could get the vest off, they dragged him away, placed him in a circle, ripped off all his clothing, and began stripping his organs while he was still somewhat alive. They cut off his penis. They fought over who would keep it. I was mortified. They also killed some of the Caucasian women hunters. One woman pretended to bond with me for 2 days, and out of nowhere she called out, 'I found her, I found her.' I knew I couldn't trust her from the start. Her boots gave her away. I played stupid. She told me everything about how they use people who look like me. They anchor us by using handlers to infiltrate, by knowing the culture and eating the food. How they will never date their own, telling us who to trust in their communities. We are always the target, never the two, always the one. She only told me because she thought she was going to be rewarded for capturing me. But instead I took her to fake hideaway spots. After she finished telling them about my location, they shot her with no mercy. Fortunately, I was able to grab night goggles and the hunting knife. The guns they used were digitally controlled. I have yet to crack the code to use them. One night they let out these things that looked like human wolves/dogs. They walked like dogs, then like humans. Out of nowhere they hunted them down as well, like practice sessions. "The actor Blues? He's not dead." I said, He has a movie out right now. I met him at one of the parties. Just a week ago." "Sarah, you mean you met his hybrid?" She continues, "He didn't want to be here, none of them wanted to be here. The melanated ones anyway. When you see a black celebrity who died suddenly, or a successful millionaire who gets in bed with them, they go out the same way. Character assassination, and then jailed, is the beginning of their downfall." I was shocked. I said, "Do you hear that? It sounds like music coming from afar." Sarah placed her hand over my mouth. She made me look up. It was the monster figure that captured me from my home. It looked directly at me but couldn't see me. We camouflaged our bodies into the woods. I was terrified. Now I felt what the others felt when they thought running for help might bring mercy. I too wanted to run, but I knew better. Sarah and I crawled to another area that allowed us to see where the creature was looking over us. He smashed through the hole like it was nothing. I couldn't help but think that could have been us. We got back into our hideaway tree. I asked Sarah where the music was coming from. "The party boat." She said, "That's how I know it's Saturday night. It's about 9:45 p.m. Have you tried getting their attention?" She chuckled. "Angela, you realize we are on a cliff. A fire would give away our location. I didn't survive this long by pretending I'm not in danger." She looked at the ocean. I still had so many questions in my head, like, is Malik looking for me? Do they realize I never showed at the event? I saw my purse by the tree. In my mind I knew I could just go get it, but getting caught would be my end. Especially with them larking around for us. I knew my phone was in there. Sarah looked toward me. Notice I was looking at my purse. She said, "Don't even attempt." She said, "I know every inch of this forest." That purse was not there before. They are getting close to us. It was put there. For some reason everything became solemn, like some was coming. She signaled toward me to be quiet. It was now near us. My heart sank. Out of nowhere it walked right over and picked up my purse and walked off with it as if to replace it somewhere else to capture us. I couldn't believe it. "Sarah, you don't get a choice. There are levels to this game called stardom when it comes to us, or even their own. Chasing our dreams got us here together. It must be a powerful reason why God placed us here together. Now it's time for us to make a final decision, live or die. God will need to burn this hellhole down for us to really be at peace." Out of nowhere I said, "Then let's start the fire tonight." "Sarah, I know their patterns. We take them down one by one. The traps we created will get the most of them." Time was getting short. Sarah and I split up. Sarah climbed the tree to see the hunter's pattern. I was to lead them to the traps we set. Sarah acted as the lookout, determining the best route to execute the bulk of the traps we planned. Now the hunters became the hunted. One was right behind me, then two came right after the first hunter. I knew my skills could outrun them. I jumped over a river trail they was following me, like we was almost attached. I knew the traps was close. I dropped and cut the vine, and one big tree swung, hitting all three hunters, crushing their back against another tree. I jumped up out of the river trail. In seconds, another tree swung back and ripped through another hunter. Sarah looking from the treetop. She jumped down onto a hunter, breaking its neck. The hunter was a woman, whom she took out. Someone yells over there. Footsteps heading in my direction. Angela was being watched. A hunter was right behind me. Sarah saw it from afar, but she knew that if she ran toward it or yelled out, they would spot her position. Sarah's night goggles were steaming up from fear for Angela. Sarah ran through the path where the hunter was hunting, guns drawn, and began shooting at Sarah. It felt like 1,000 shots flung towards Sarah as she ran in the night rain. Sarah ducked. Using the binoculars, a huge shadow blocked Angela on the cliff as well. Sarah ran toward the shadow, but a hunter confronted her. They stood toe-to-toe. Sarah realized she had to fight. The hunter took off his face gear, thinking this was going to be easy. Sarah was shocked to find it was a famous TV actor. He smiled. "Come here, little girl. You're the golden one." She couldn't believe this guy. He wanted to have sex with me, in the middle of the forest, with all of this going on. The hunting knife was taped behind my back. I began to play it off, as if I was gamed. I began to reach back, as if I was taking off my torn and worn shirt. I grabbed my knife and shoved it into his groin. I twisted and turned until he dropped. I ran toward the last site where I saw Angela. He had Angela by the neck and threw her off the cliff. By this time, I was close enough to jump on its back and held onto its masked face, attempting to pull it off. It slammed me onto the hard grass. I finally got the mask off. Its face looked hideous/monstrous. I said, "Darren, Darren, are you still alive?" I fought him knowing my life would end, as Angela's did. Unsure if this was Darren, the thing fought back stronger and harder. I had one more move. I grabbed a branch and went for his eye. The branch went through its eye, and it screamed loudly. Then, it grabbed its face, which allowed me to get away. I crawled to the edge of the cliff, hoping to still see if Angela was alive. But something grabbed my ankle from behind. I kicked and pulled, but the grip was so strong, it nearly broke my ankle as it dragged me up a hill embankment. It looked back. The branch was still stuck in its eye. At this point, I knew I was dead. But the grotesque figure from behind did not look human. It looked like an animal. I wasn't sure what this beast was, Darren, or what. I knew I had to get from its clutches. It picked me up so high only to slam me back down onto the wet, hard ground. I knew one more slam would finish me. Somehow, I kicked the branch further into its eye. It screamed so loudly and harshly that the sound would melt your heart. It grabbed its face again, giving Sarah the power to kick this monster to the edge of the cliff. She yelled, "Go to hell, you fucking monster," and landed her final kick to its head. It fell down to the ocean sand dune. The body lay lifeless. Sarah ran so hard she ran right into what she thought was a hunter. The gates, which stood almost as tall as an ancient tree, were now open. No electricity or security alarm was on. It was freedom, she thought. The sun was coming up, and when she looked up it was Lena. "Oh my God, Lena." Sarah dropped to her knees, giving up. Ray cried for joy, saying, "Sarah, Sarah, I knew I would see and find you again, my baby girl." She grabbed her father, the SUV driver. Malik's eyes were full of tears of joy of seeing Sarah. He looked around, looking for Angela. He then asked, "Where is Angela?" Sarah shook her head, stating she didn't make it. Malik, concerned, tears rolling down his face, asked what happened. Darren pushed her off the cliff. Or maybe it was a monster. I'm just not sure what it was. But I killed it. I pushed it off the cliff. Malik attempted to run back into the mansion, but the cops stopped him. He was yelling, "My girlfriend is still in there." Malik looked over and saw the bellboy in cuffs, being placed in a cop car, yelling toward him, "I will see you get the death penalty." Several known figures were in cuffs coming out of the Madison. A male and a female were being escorted out with the police helping them both. They were injured but managed to walk. Angela yelled, "Malik, oh my God, Malik." Sarah turned around from hugging her father and Lena, saying, "Greg, Angela, oh my God, Greg, Angela," with joy. She ran toward both of them, and they all fell down, enjoying seeing each other again. They were all in a huddle, thanking God and crying. The survivors stand together as justice continues to arrive. The Hollywood sign glows at sunrise. Angela voiceover. "We came chasing dreams and found monsters. Tonight, the hunted burned it all down." The body that Sarah killed off the cliff was not found. Malik's brother has been missing since that night. Malik and I got married, and Lena and Sarah have been together ever since. Lucy, Darren's mother, was jailed and deported back to her country. Blue Waters moved its headquarters out of Hollywood and went underground. My first screenplay was called L.A. the Uninvited. The end.